Hey guys, today on Rich with Cars, I bring you 2021 Volvo S60 T5 R-Design. I'll give you guys a quick tour on the exterior, interior, cargo, engine, and then give you guys a little bit of my driving impressions and give you guys an idea of how this car basically compares to some of its competition. It's more of a sports sedan that flies under the radar in the automotive sports sedan market. So let's take a look, dive in. I'll see you guys inside. The Volvo S60 T5 R-Design is a sports sedan probably that competes with the likes of Lexus IS, Audi A4, BMW 3 Series, Cadillac CT4, you know, basically those types, and even like the Infiniti Q50. In terms of exterior design compared to its competition, I find that the Volvo is a little bit, I guess you could say, conservative. It's got a more mature type of design language. There are a few things that I like about it. For example, its daytime running lights, which is the infamous Thor's hammer for its daytime running lights. Aside from that, I mean, it's a very conservative design in general. Starting off here with the front, one thing that I kind of like with the Volvo design of vehicles is that they didn't actually fall into the trend of having massive grills. As you can see over here, the grill over here doesn't really take up the majority of the front bumper design of the vehicle. So that looks pretty nice. It's pretty conservative. And then, you know, if we look here at the top, the character lines on the hood are quite conservative as well, nothing too crazy. It's typical Swedish design. Moving further below on the T5 R-Design, we have these fog lights here at the bottom, and then you have more of an opening here further below, and you can see the intercooler right through there. So generally speaking, the front is quite conservative, nothing too crazy. I still prefer design on some other vehicles like the IS, for example, and even the Genesis G70, because this basically starts around the same price level as all those cars in terms of base pricing. Now moving along to the side, we have these wheels that are specific to the R-Design, which are sort of like a 5-spoke design. Really nice. I like the design of it. It's quite different. They're actually 19-inch wheels over here. Nothing too crazy here on the side of the vehicle. You know, the character lines, I don't know if you can see it. You only have like a character line that's over there, but nothing too crazy. And then you have even like the door handles as well. They're, you know, normal door handles. Very, very clean here from the side. And then you have the side view mirrors with the integrated blinkers. As we go to the rear, we have the typical taillight design over here that wraps around in sort of like a U shape. I like the fact that Volvo actually now has it spelled out instead of having a logo, kind of like a lot of the other manufacturers. And then you have the dual tailpipes or tailpipe housing at the bottom over here, which is pretty nice. It goes along with the entire design language of the vehicle, which is clean design. Very, very clean. So I'll give you guys sort of a quick look all around, but ultimately it's very mature type of design. Now moving on to the interior, this is one part of the vehicle that I do actually like, is the interior design of the car. And I like how, you know, they make some, you know, seemingly high quality plastics, like plastic injected molds over here. And then you have the Bowers and Wilkins sound system, which is optional. And then you have a bit of leather over here. But this over here is like a fabric that, you know, is not commonly used across different manufacturers, and I kind of like it. But most of all, what I really do like are the seats that come with the R-Design T5. And once again, we have leather with some contrast piping over here, and then once again we got this material once again. So instead of using, you know, Alcantara for example to keep the driver in place or not sliding around, they actually use that this material, sort of like a fabric, and I kind of like it. I also love the shape and the look of the seat. It does actually keep you in place. I'll be honest a little bit though, this part of the seat right here kind of digs a little bit into my leg. Now of course you have the ability of, I believe, extending it, as you can see over there, and it definitely helps for long drives. But at the end of the day, I think that they should have actually kept this part right here not as huggy as the rest of the vehicle. You know, you have the bolstering over here and the bolstering over here, but they should have kept this a little bit less bolstered. I believe this car comes with 10-way power seats, if I'm not wrong, and generally speaking they're pretty comfortable, but like I said, this is the only part that I wasn't too crazy about. Then you have some aluminum pedals over there as well, which I believe also is part of the R-Design. Very unconventional thing is this start stop button over here. You don't push it, it's not even like over anywhere else, or like your typical place like behind the steering wheel over there. It's actually right here, which is pretty cool. And you just twist it like that and it starts the car. We have a 3-spoke steering wheel over here, kind of comfortable. I'm not crazy about this steering wheel design. It's not bad, but it's not great. I've had this car for about a couple days now, and it's not very easy or very intuitive to get used to the controls in this vehicle. Of course you have some controls over here like the voice control, but then you have all these other things over here and over there that I'm not even sure what they do. I mean, of course you can see over here I changed a thing over there, but still, like, I can't even select it. So very weird. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, the you know, UI design or the usability of the actual of the vehicle's controls are not very intuitive. You do have a full digital cluster over here that can actually change, you know, its look, but it doesn't change too much. I'll show you guys right now. I'm not sure if it's because I don't know how to use the controls on the steering wheel, but in order to change the gauge, it's not very straightforward. So you swipe down from the top, click on settings, go to my car, displays, display themes, and then you can go different modes over here. So I'll show you guys as I change. So this is the first one, which is glass. This is minimalistic. This is performance. And this is chrome rings. Like I said before, it doesn't change much in terms of the look. It just changes some colors around the actual tachometer and speedometer. But it, you know, it basically follows the same design language throughout the entire vehicle. Very minimalistic, very simple. The other thing also that I noticed is that the car itself doesn't have many buttons. So most of the stuff is actually done through the screen over here. And then you have the some buttons over here for the radio, tracking, and then you have a button over here for the defogger on the front windshield. And they have the rear windshield defogger as well. And that's basically it. I mean, there's not much else that you have control of. So if you want to have other things, it's on the screen over here. Like I said before, you do have the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which is optional, and it does have it in this car. You have a central tweeter over there, and then some additional speakers all around as well. The design language continues in terms of simple and minimalistic. This is sort of like a fake metal over here in plastic, and then you have some fake brushed aluminum also in plastic as well. You know, all in all, it's very simplistic. Not bad. I do like the interior design because it is minimalistic. So a few little things that I like also, for example, you have this right here on the seat, which shows a Swedish flag, shows its Swedish you know, origin. And then let's go to the middle a little bit. So you have this over here, which is a charging pad, and let's show you here a little bit. It actually this whole thing closes over here, so it keeps it nice and clean. But then if you want to have access, you just pull it back. You have a couple cup holders over here. You have a Qi wireless charging system for your phone, and you can actually charge your phone directly over here. You don't need to open this part over here. Now if you do have a 12-volt charger over there, and then some additional space over here, which I don't even know what it's for. Like I said, you have your start stop button over here, your different drive modes. In order to actually select it though, it's kind of odd, because if I scroll this, it doesn't show anything on the actual screen. I can click on it, scroll, and then if I want to choose something, I just click on that again. And it doesn't even show, to be honest, like a confirmation. What it does is, so for example, if I choose dynamic, see these two little bars on the side? So I click on it, and then those two bars basically go next to that choice, which to me is not very telling of which mode you've actually chosen. Not really my my cup of tea, let's just say. And then finally, let's move back here in the middle. You have your automatic brake hold over here, and then a little bit extra storage space with a couple of USB-A plugs over there. You do have a frameless rear view mirror, some additional controls here at the top. Of course, you have your lights, auto lights, and then you have your sunroof over here. And then show you guys a little quick review here in the back. The seat, actually, to be honest, it's in my position, and look how much space I have. I have quite a bit of, I would say at least 3 inches and a half of knee space or knee room. In terms of head space, you can see I have about an inch, which not bad, pretty spacious. Seats here in the rear are relatively comfortable. You got a bit of, I guess you could say, bolstering here in the back, a little bit, but generally it's not bad. Not a bad area to be in here in the rear. You have the climate control area right here, which is kind of odd. It's a screen, and you can change, it's dual zone, of course, and then you have also heated seats as well. A little power outlet over here, household, so you can actually like just plug something in over there, your charger if you want. And you have also some vents here on the side, which is pretty cool. You don't get to see that too often in sedans, sports sedans, so not bad. And then something also that is atypical or not typical of sports sedans here in the rear, you have a lock button over here, which is kind of odd. So you lock the door, but you can still open it with double pull of the handle. So 1, 2. So it's sort of an additional, I guess, safety measure that Volvo took. We all know that Volvo is very well known for their safety and how safe they like to keep their cars. So the other cool thing also that I want to mention, that is you could see in the front over there, and you can also see on the driver's side, and even right here on the rear, is a piping on the circumference of the floor mats. Pretty nice. It adds a little bit extra flair, if you want to call it, to the design of the interior. So a little cool thing that the S60 has, that some sports sedans have, but not all, is when you actually click on the trunk release button, it automatically opens the trunk. Pretty cool. You cannot actually close it automatically though. You have to manually close it from here. In terms of trunk space, it's quite a bit. I'll show you guys the trunk volume numbers. You do have a pass-through right there in the middle, but aside from that, it's pretty straightforward. You don't have any, additional felt lining over there in the back, but you do have quite a bit of space. I do like the fact that the opening is quite wide for easy loading, so makes it more practical as well. So this Volvo S60 T5 comes with a 247 horsepower and 258 pound-per-foot of torque, inline 4 turbocharged. I think I mentioned before maybe it was both turbocharged and supercharged, but I believe it's only turbocharged. So you definitely feel the turbo lag on this engine. It has actually made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So you do have some manual modes in the transmission. You do not have paddle shifters, and I'll put up the numbers for the 0 to 60. I think it's in the mid 5s or high 5s, nothing too crazy. And I think it's transversely mounted, so meaning it's actually mounted this way instead of that way. Little peppy inline 4 engine. I mean, that's what we're coming to nowadays. Volvo's been doing it for quite some time, so yeah, it's not bad. It does pick up, but it does definitely have quite a bit of turbo lag. Driving impressions. What can I say about this car? Well, it definitely doesn't drive like it looks. I mean, it looks conservative, but with a sporty touch to it. I wouldn't say it actually drives that sporty. It does have the 240 horsepower inline 4. You definitely feel some turbo lag in there. In terms of handling, there is some body roll as I drive around. Brakes aren't that great. Steering feel, I wouldn't say is very communicative. So all in all, I wouldn't say it's a great driver's car compared to a Lexus IS or the Genesis G70 that I drove earlier this year. I would say that this is probably at the bottom. Definitely doesn't compare to the German counterparts. So, I mean, it really depends what you're looking for. This car is more of a, I guess you could say a family-oriented sports sedan with safety focus towards the vehicle itself and the driving dynamics. You know, that's all in all, that's what my driving impressions are on the vehicle. It does have all the economical efficiency gimmicks in there, aside from being a forced induction. And at the same time, it does have the auto start stop, which you can disengage. So ultimately, aside from that, visibility on the car is quite good. It is a 4-door sports sedan, so it's not like we have you know, many dead points anyways, so, or blind spots. So in terms of suspension feel, it does feel a little stiffer than some of the other ones, but let's also keep in mind that I'm driving on roads that are a little less smooth than where I was driving in Florida. But ultimately this does feel a little stiffer than the other cars that I drove, the IS and the G7. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick overview of the 2021 Volvo S60 T5 R-Design. Hopefully you guys got something out of this review, and it'll help you make a decision in terms of coming to choose a sports sedan if that's what you're in the market for. So once again, thank you very much for all your support, for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.